Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, as of October the 3rd, Rooster Teeth finally released the RWBY Volume 6 poster for everyone to see, and as you already know, it has already had a lot of opinions and a lot of speculations and theories already come up behind it. So what we're going to do here today is we're going to have an analysis. I'm going to give my thoughts, speculations, and my overall opinions of the poster in general today. And another thing, I'll bring up some of the speculations and theories that people have come up with, and we'll just kind of talk about them too. So, when looking at this poster, I've had some interest. There have been a couple of things that really piqued my interest, not just as a fan of RWBY, but also as an artist, because there are a couple of things here that stand out to me. One thing in particular, and I'm sure everybody has one thing that stands out to them in particular in this poster. But let's look around for a moment at this poster. So, first off, we have Team RWBY. We have RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. We have all of them in it. But if you notice, there is no Team Juniper. Now, does that mean that they're not going to join? No. Doesn't mean that JNR is not going to be there. I'm sure that they probably will. But it just shows that maybe that Team RWBY themselves are going to be the main focus of this. And that's okay with me. And hopefully, RWBY gets a character arc out of this one. Hopefully, this volume will lead more into that. And that I would be actually okay with. And another thing that this is just a thought. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but this is just a kind of a thought, kind of a speculation here, is that if you look at the positioning, you have RWBY and Blake on one side, which would be to your right, and then you have Weiss and Yang on the left. This makes me kind of wonder, because you have Ozpin and Oscar, Ozpin to the right and Oscar to the left. It makes me think, what if there's a possibility that RWBY and Blake kind of side more with Ozpin, and if Weiss and Yang side more with Oscar? Now, of course, that's just a thought. That doesn't mean that's going to happen, but it doesn't mean it's not either. But it's just a thought that's kind of hit across my mind, because maybe this is meant to be the symbolism of saying that people are going to start agreeing with other people, that other characters are going to say, hey look, I agree with Ozpin, or oh hey look, I agree with Oscar. Now that would be interesting. I don't think anybody would separate in this volume, though. I don't think it would really lead to that, but it's just something that kind of stood out to me, and I could be overthinking that, but that's something that kind of looks to me, because if you look at the characters, if you look at the expressions on their faces, they seem concerned. It's like a concerned look, and maybe even a questionable one. I think Weiss has kind of more of the questionable look than anybody else, and maybe that is just a thought there that's crossing my mind. Not saying it's going to happen, like I said, not saying it's not going to happen, but I just thought that would be something that'd be interesting, just kind of take a little bit of note of there. Now, I want to look at the Oscar and Ozpin part, because that's the centerpiece of this poster. Now, if you look at that, look at Oscar. He's kind of glowing. Then again, if you look at it, the glow is kind of going around Ozpin a little bit too, because if you see the middle, the glow is still there around both of them. So that's pretty interesting. Now, maybe we're going to see more of Oscar when it comes to a semblance. Maybe we won't see anything when it concerns a semblance either, because this could also signal something other than a semblance. It could start to signal the importance of the two characters. This could actually start to signal, hey look, we are going to actually start talking about Ozpin's past, and Oscar starts understanding it more, because these are Ozpin's memories which are being put into his head, because as of Volume 4, Ozpin's memories were in Oscar's head. And obviously we know that Oscar could potentially figure out these memories for himself. And the one thing I do want to see is I want to see more fighting between Oscar and Ozpin, considering that their story is based off Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I want to see more of the conflict between the two trying to control Oscar's body. That would be a good thing, in my opinion. I'd like to see more of that, really. I mean, I want Oscar to start to learn a bit, but I want it to be more about Ozpin's past, because I want us to see that, if anything at all, because he is still a mystery. I mean, yes, we have clues, and yes, we've been told several things through the songs and through the series itself. We've had hints and foreshadowing, but we in particular do not see it from Ozpin's point of view. We don't have it from his point of view, and that's vitally important to see it from what Ozpin has experienced through his eyes. Because we need to see what happened in the past. We need to start having more answers as to what Ozpin actually wants. And not everything has to be told here. I mean, not everything has to be thrown at us, but I think that because if you have Ozpin, you're going to have Salem. And now that Oscar and Ozpin share a body, you're going to have Oscar be involved in this point. So, when it comes to telling Ozpin's story, that's going to also tell Salem's story, which is very important. And it seems like this poster itself leads on to the idea that we might actually get to see a little bit of the story. And I really would not mind that. At least give us a little bit of the past between Ozpin and Salem. And it doesn't have to give us everything, but it can at least be the start of telling us their conflict and how it started. So I'd be okay with that. I feel like that's kind of what this poster is starting to maybe imply, is that maybe we have a little bit of this thought here. Maybe we have a little bit of letting us know, hey, this is a little bit of the story, but this is not the full story. And that would be a good take on it, I think. I think that'd be a good start. So, the next thing to take a look at is the Grim. Now, we know there was a fan design of the Manticore Grim, and they decided to take that and kind of redo it a little bit, make their own Manticore Grim. So I think what that is in the very back, right next to Salem, is actually a Manticore Grim. And that really tells us that maybe the Grim this volume are actually going to be seen as dangerous. I would like to see more danger coming from the Grim, considering that Volume 5, aside from the Queen Lancer fight, we really didn't see any danger from Grim aside from that. So, I think it's a good chance to really show off more danger. Maybe along the way that they're traveling, maybe they will see some destroyed towns or villages or whatever, and that could actually be because of the Grim. I would be okay with that, and the Manticore Grim could be an extremely dangerous and threatening Grim. Now, that is something I would be okay with seeing, and hopefully that is something that the poster's trying to tell us, that the Grim are going to be more dangerous in this volume, and that maybe the Manticore Grim itself will be very savage. I would actually like to see a darker take with the Grim, considering that obviously they are supposed to be very, very dangerous, but yet Volume 5 kind of took away from that. So hopefully we will get to see a higher toll here from the Grim. Maybe we'll see some damage come along. Now, the next thing to look at is the one that sparked the most attention to this poster. And a lot of people have their own thoughts and theories on this. So, time for me to jump into this one, since I said I'd bring this up. Now, some people think that this is a Grimified Summer Rose. Some people think that this is Glinda Goodwitch Grimified. And some people think it might be the new villain from the board game. And then there's also thoughts that it's the return of Cinder Fall. Now, whatever your opinion is your opinion on this. I'm not going to say you're wrong, I'm not going to say you're right, because we don't know what this is. So, to look at this going into Volume 6, if I had to say what I think this is, and what I personally want this to be, this is what I hope that this is I hope it's Cinder. Because Cinder needs a character arc. And I understand, there are some people who just don't like Cinder. I get it, and if you don't, you don't. I'm not sitting over here saying you have to like her. But, as a character, she has a backstory that we don't know about. She has an origin that we don't know about. Why did she side with Salem? What could Ozpin have done in the past to her? For that matter, how did she even meet Salem? What made her come across her in the first place? So you see, there are so many things here that we still don't know about Cinder. And I think that we need Cinder to return. I personally do, and I know some of you are going to disagree with me here, and that's fine, I understand. But from a writing perspective, her story needs to be told. And this is something that really needs to happen. And now, of course, this could also be a red herring, because this could also be them saying, oh look, we'll make them think it's Cinder. And it's not. But the reason why I say this is Cinder, I mean, like I said, I've taken a very close look at this. Look at the hips of the character. That's a feminine structure to the body. Women have hips that are like that, because men and women's bodies are different. And that is a feminine structure to her body. And then if you look at the arm, it looks like a Grim arm. And who has a Grim arm that we know of? Cinder does. Now, of course, you could say, well, it could be a Grimified new character. That's a possibility, and that could be true. But this, to me, looks like it's Cinder. And I think that's who it is. And I honestly would be glad to see her come back. Because, like I said, there are so many things we still have yet to learn about her character. And there's one more thing to think about, and this is going back to the Volume 5 poster. Now, when you look at the Volume 5 poster, then you compare it to Volume 6. What was Raven there for? She was on the opposite side of Cinder, and everybody speculated Raven was the Spring Maiden. And here we are again with this silhouette character that looks similar to another character that has previously been in the series. So I think this is yet again another one of the foreshadowings that a lot of fans may speculate on, and that I feel this is the return of Cinder. I feel like she is going to come back in this volume, and this is something I actually do want. I do want her to see her come back, and I think it'd be a good thing for her character to kind of get a bit of a story out of her. So we need to know her backstory. I do think that that's a very vital and important thing. Now, next thing that's important about this poster. There's a character that's missing that should probably be here. That if they're supposed to be very important, where are they? They're not here. Now, who's that character you're probably asking that I am referring to? That is Adam Taurus. If you notice, he's nowhere in this poster at all. There's not a glimpse of him. There's nothing. He is not in this poster at all. Now, this makes me think this will be Adam's final volume. Now, you could say, well, they probably didn't put him in the poster because they didn't want to reveal his face because he always wore that mask. I don't think that's the case here, because what they could have done is they could have just shown his back to the poster where you don't see his face but you see his back. They could have done that. But considering that Adam is not in this poster at all, I don't think he's going to be very important aside from finishing off Yang and Blake's character arcs. I think that he will be the final boss of their character arc, and I don't think he's going to have much more because they've really solved the issue with his character. And now that would be something else, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to be very important aside from Yang and Blake because there's not much more of a story that I think personally. Now, you all may think differently, but I don't think there's much of a story that Adam could bring up here. I don't think there's anything left really. And I think that's why he's not here, is because he's just going to be really there for Yang and Blake's arc, and that's it. I think that will be the end of Adam, actually. Because I would think if they were going to show Adam in this poster, I would think he'd be a little bit more significant. I think he would be a bigger part of this, unless they just want to keep him a mystery, making you wait and wonder when he's going to show up. Now, that could be another case that they're going to do for this volume, which wouldn't be a surprise, but I just feel like this is kind of signaling the fact that Adam's just going to be here for Yang and Blake, and then it's done. He's going to be finished. And I wouldn't be surprised at that. And quite clearly, I don't think you can really do that much more with Adam's character, so I think that's why he's not really in this poster, because he just has one point, and that's to be there for Blake and Yang's character arc. And I think that there are more important characters that really need to be focused on anyways. So, overall, what do I think of this poster? It's okay. It's not bad. I actually like the Volume 4 poster probably the most. It's either that one or it's Volume 5. Because I feel like when I look at the Volume 4 poster, the colors are what really stand out to me. They really pop and make that poster really stand out more. And then I feel like with Volume 5 is really kind of getting you ready for what's about to happen. Because it really feels like you're going to be prepared for something amazing and great to happen. And the colors looked good. I actually like the colors to Volume 5 as well. And then, of course, Raven and Cinder being on opposite sides of each other really kind of said, hey, look, this is the Spring Maiden, this is the Fall Maiden. And everybody speculated that with Raven, that she was going to be the Spring Maiden. And look at that, it turned out to be true. So, my thoughts on the Volume 6 poster overall, I don't mind it. I think its art looks great. I think it looks good for what it is. It's just I feel like visually it doesn't stand out in comparison to the previous two posters that came before this one. I feel like it's setting up an idea for what's happening, and that's fine. There's no problem with that. And it could be really showing us a darker tone for the series, hopefully. Maybe that will happen. But I just feel like, in comparison, when it comes to colors, I feel like it doesn't stand out as much as the other two. But that's just my personal opinion. But here's my question for each of you. What do you all think of the poster, and what are your thoughts on this poster? What do you think it means for Volume 6? And who do you think the silhouetted person is? What are your theories? What are your thoughts? Let me know what your overall thoughts on this poster are down below. But anyways, I'll be back again on Tuesday. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well, anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.